Well, we're going to make a rat trap. Mice, rats, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to make it really simple. We're going to use 5-gallon bucket. We're going to use some scrap material around here. We're going to use a piece of PVC pipe. Some everyday wire. Could use a coat hanger. Couldn't find one. All the ones we have around here. The plastic, but that's good because I need plastic. I need a straw, and these are hollow, so I can use the inside of this for a straw. And I need to have the ends plugged, so I got a piece of paint pole stick, fits in the end, a broom handle, anything that fit in the end. I'm going to have to use a little bit of tape to get a little snugger, but that's the idea. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to cut the pipe so it fits inside the bucket. And you want it at least 1 inch or so from the edge. So I hold it up to my bucket, and I'm just going to hold it on the edge, so probably about there. Maybe about there. I don't know what that is, probably 9 inches. And I'm just going to cut it off real quick. And it doesn't even really have to be that good of a cut or straight, because this is the flat part here. Then I need a couple of these, probably 1 inch, 1.5 inches long. Then we're going to find a drill bit. We don't want it too big, but then again you don't want it real small because you want it to slip. And hopefully my drill bits are halfway sharp. Usually they're not. Ideally you want to hit it right in the center, but as long as you get it pretty close, it will still work. I guess it's going to be the hardest part of the whole thing. These are oak, piece of wood. Now we're going to insert these in the ends of the thing, but they're obviously too loose. So we're just going to put some tape on them to fatten them up a little bit. Not sure how fat I got to go, but probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 times around I would probably do it. See if that works. A little too loose still, a little more. Maybe go like another 3. Now you could use a lot of other stuff. It's just what I'm using. And the other end, same thing. So that was probably like 8 or 9 times around. Now you could probably use, it'd probably be easier if you had PVC caps to go on the end, which I don't. It's a little piece of sheet metal, and stuck that around the end and taped it, you know, wrapped it over the pole, and then just taped it around would probably work. And that fits in there pretty nice. So they're at the ends here. Now we're going to run some wire here. We're going to drill a hole in the bucket and both sides opposite ends. And we're going to run the wire through it. And it could be a coat hanger, it could be any kind of wire that would work. It could be a lot of other stuff, really. Just something thin. It was going to go. I'm using this a little bit long so I can tie a little knot on each end. About 1 inch longer than the bucket on both sides. And then I'm going to feed that through my pole. Oh, it just dawned on me, that's going to be hard to get it through on both sides. Well, on my plan. Oh. Since I wasn't smart enough to do it right the first time, I'll show you how I'm going to fix the problem. I'm going to put a screw in the end of it, and that will enable me to pull it out. There you go, I got it out. So I'm going to run the wire through one side, have it stick out the other side, take my screw out of my plug, run the wire through that, and put the plug back in my piece of PVC pipe. So there you go, that probably works a little bit better. Got a little piece of wood shaving on the end here. Just going to snip that off. It was on the inside before, but there you go, that works. Push it in just a little bit further. There you go. Flush on both ends. Now I'm going to drill my hole in the bucket, opposite sides. No rhyme or reason. I'm just going to use the handles because it makes it easier to get opposite sides. Put about a ½ inch or so down from the top. Comes the interesting part, the part with the coat hanger. Because I don't want this to slop back and forth and get too close to the edge of the bucket. I want to have it a little bit centered. Remember, we're about 1 inch off each side. So I'm going to see if this will work. I'm going to cut it. Maybe these aren't hollow. I thought these were hollow. They're not hollow. What do you know? Not a problem. I can drill them. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill it because it's easier to hold it. Now the only purpose of this is to keep this in the center of the bucket. I just thought these were hollow. Now I'm going to cut this about 1 inch. Probably should use the little saw there, but these work pretty good. As I crimped it, I had to make my hole visible again. One of them cut, so I'll slide it on the other end. Remember, just a normal straw would work just as good and easier. Now I need another one. Now I'm going to measure it. I got there and probably less than 1 inch. Right about there, ought to do it. Now all I got to do is measure it. Probably about 1 inch, a little less maybe. And feed this through one hole. Put the spacer on it on the other side. Stick it in the other hole and pull it tight. And then all we gotta do now is just wrap it around like so. Pull it tight and wrap it around. Spinning it a little bit to get it going, but the idea is when the rat climbs across here to get the peanut butter to spread on this thing will roll. He's going to get up to the bucket. He could jump up there, but he probably won't. So we need to make a ramp. Just so, I got a couple pieces of wood laying around. That's kind of steep. He could probably not work. This one still not long enough. I don't have a long enough piece, so I'm just going to put 2 pieces together and make my ramp. I don't think he cares if it's not real pretty. There you go. Now I don't want it up like this. You could set it on there, lined up with the spindle. I'm just going to drop it down just a hair. And I'm going to run a screw from the inside. And I'm just going to screw the ramp on so it's real close to the top. Line her up. Screwed this a little too tight, makes the bucket want to lean. Not a problem. I'm just going to loosen the screw up a little bit. Rats don't care. It doesn't have to be pretty. There you go. Now it's on the ground. Won't fall off. Crawl up here, crawl across here, spin across this, fall into the water. Well, if you want to be humane about it, you could not even put any water in and they'll drop down to the bottom. You can't really climb out the bucket and you'll have them trapped. Most people fill it with about 4 or 5 inches of water and they drown. Put a little soap in the water, gets their feet slippery, makes it even harder for them to climb out. And they really can't jump if there's water in it. If there's no water in it, it's a pretty big rat. It's possible they can jump out, get on something, maybe climb out. Just going to smear some peanut butter on this. Inches, probably about up to here with water. Careful not to spray the peanut butter off. Yep, there it is. Water, and I'm just going to put a couple drops of soap in it. Couple drops of soap. You don't really need to stir it up, but I'm just doing it just because. Quick rat trap, and it costs almost nothing to make.